friends, I'm Amy, and today we're making another delightful copycat recipe. This week, we're heading to Applebee's for some Fiesta lime chicken. So this dish is the most ordered entree on Applebee's menu, and it's also one of their highest ranked dishes as well. Many times it reigns supreme in the #1 spot. And I have to say, I completely agree. This dish is delicious. It's savory and tangy and cheesy, and it's served with Mexican rice and pico de gallo, and it packs a lime punch. So, like slushiest, let's bust a lime and get cooking. We're starting with the chicken, and we have just a little bit of prep. We need a total of 4 chicken breast pieces, but we don't want them to be massive things like these are. So let's cut our chicken like we're butterflying it, so we end up with 4 regular sized pieces of chicken instead of these gargantuan monstrosities. Now, if you have small chicken breasts, like around 6 ounces each, you'll want to just use 4 full chicken breasts for this. Cover them with plastic wrap and use a meat mallet and pound these things until they're an even thickness. Now, you don't want to pound them really thin, just kind of even them out so you don't have areas that are a lot thicker than the others. When the chicken's ready, just set it to the side for a moment and let's mix up our marinade. In a large, non-reactive bowl, add 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning, which is one of those seasoning packets, 1 tablespoon of honey, 2 tablespoons of avocado oil, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of lime juice or the juice of 2 fresh limes, and a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Whisk this together until everything is well mixed and there are no taco seasoning clumps. Now grab our chicken breasts and we're going to roll each piece of chicken around in the marinade until they're all completely coated. Arrange the chicken in a roughly kind of flattish sort of layer so the bottom of each piece of chicken is in the marinade. Cover it with plastic wrap, and you want to push the wrap down right on top of the chicken so there's not a bunch of air in between the chicken and the wrap. This ensures that the tops of the chicken pieces are always in contact with the marinade and that they don't start to dry out. Place the chicken in the fridge and marinate it for 15 minutes. At that point, pull the chicken out and remove the plastic wrap from the top. Flip each piece over so the tops are now sitting in the marinade at the bottom. Then cover them again just like you did the first time and pop them back in the fridge to marinate for another 45 minutes. A quick caveat though, you only want to marinate this for an hour total. The acidity of the lime juice in this marinade, it's going to break down the proteins in the chicken as it marinates, and it actually does this pretty quickly. Leaving it in the lime juice for too long is going to make the chicken mushy or even stringy as the proteins that hold the muscle fibers together break down. So if you want to prep this for another day, I would recommend prepping the chicken and making the marinade, but storing them separately until about an hour before you want to cook this. Just before the chicken's done marinating, preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Spray a 9x13 baking dish with a little bit of oil, and when the chicken is done marinating, pull it out of the fridge and arrange the 4 pieces of chicken in the dish in a single layer. Let any excess marinade kind of drip off the chicken back in the bowl so the chicken isn't baking in a pool of the marinade. Again, because that lime juice is currently eating away at that meat. Just don't shake the chicken with too much enthusiasm because it's really splattery. Bake this for 25 to 30 minutes or until the chicken is cooked through, which is going to be 165 degrees on a meat thermometer. While the chicken's baking, let's get our rice going so it's ready when the chicken's done. In a large skillet, add 2 tablespoons of oil and heat it over medium heat. While that's heating up, rinse 1 cup of rice in a strainer until the water runs clear. This is going to remove a bunch of starch from the uncooked rice so our ending Mexican rice won't end up sticky. When the oil's hot, dump the rice into the pan and we're going to saute it for 2 to 3 minutes until it starts turning a really light golden color. You can also add a 1/4 cup of diced onion with the rice, but I'm making onionless rice this time. Just stir this almost continuously though, because the rice will stick if you're not careful. Then pour in 1 cup of tomato sauce, 2 cups of chicken broth or stock, and our seasonings, which is a teaspoon each of garlic powder and onion powder and a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. Now, I'm also adding a little extra ingredient, which is some Mexican oregano for additional flavor. Now, if you don't have this though, just leave it out. You don't want to use Italian oregano for this because they have very different flavor profiles. Mexican oregano is citrusy and earthy, where Italian oregano is more of a sweeter, almost mint-like flavor. Last, add salt to taste and give this a little stir with a whisk or a spatula just so all the seasonings are fully mixed in. Bring it to a boil and then turn the heat down to low, like the lowest of the low. Pop a lid on the pan and let this sit for 20 minutes. It's also important to resist the urge to check it though. Don't remove the lid until 20 minutes is up. No stirring, no nothing. The rice needs all of the moisture in there to stay in there or it won't get soft enough and then we'll end up with crunchy rice. Now let's whip up some Applebee's Mexi-Ranch dip. To a small bowl, add a 1/4 cup of mild salsa, a 1/4 cup of ranch dressing, a tablespoon of fresh chopped cilantro, 2 tablespoons of sour cream, and a 1/2 tablespoon of lime juice. Whisk this up until it's fully combined, and that is it for the Applebee's Mexi-Ranch dip. When the chicken's cooked through, pull it out of the oven and brush a generous amount of that salsa ranch dip on top of each piece of chicken. Now you're still going to have about half of it left over, but that is exactly what we want. Place a slice of Colby Jack cheese on each piece of chicken and then pop this back in the oven for 3 to 5 minutes, just until the cheese is all nice and melty. The rice is done and look at how beautiful this is. It's lovely and soft, but it's not sticky and it smells heavenly, tomatoey and savory. This is just right. The chicken's done too, and it looks and smells amazing. Doesn't that salsa ranch glaze look fantastic? Serve the chicken on top of crushed up tortilla chips or some tortilla strips, and with little cups of the Mexi-Ranch dip and pico de gallo, and then of course our Mexican rice on the side. Add some little lime quarters so you can squeeze fresh lime juice over everything, toss on a little fresh cilantro, and we have Fiesta lime chicken. So this may as well have come from the restaurant kitchen. It tastes like I just got takeout, but I dare say it's better than if I got takeout. And not just because this is as hot and fresh as it can possibly get, but because the flavors are so much more fresh and tangy and savory and sweet than I've ever had at a restaurant. It's like what Fiesta lime chicken's supposed to be, and the restaurant version is pretending to be this. I also have 4 servings of it, and the total cost per serving was less than $5 if I include tax. I have the cost breakdown in the description below for you if you want to see how that breaks down. And given that you can normally get 2 of these on the 2 for $20 or the 25 special for dine-in, I just got twice the food for half the price. And I don't even want to think about takeout or delivery because regular price for Fiesta lime chicken runs between $17 and $23 before delivery fees, service charges, tips, all that extra stuff that makes a single meal that should cost $5 into a meal that costs up to $40, and that just blows my mind. Plus, this just tastes so good, and look how beautiful it is. And best of all, now that I know how easy it is to make this at home, I can make it whenever I want to. There's just nothing better than restaurant food at home, especially when it turns out even better than the original. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like and subscribe, maybe leave me a comment below or a share. It really helps to grow my channel, and I am so grateful for everyone in the fun and foodie community that we're building here. Come and hang out with me on Sundays for comforting home-cooked meals and treats because I have delicious foods to share every week. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you back here next Wednesday for some more better at-home copycat cooking. Bye.